Going live.
All right, ready to go.
Ready to go, Conrad.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, guests, thank you very much for joining us today for our fantastic Centercourt 360 webinar series. We have the one and only Emma Doyle, our keynote speaker in the Empower Hour. Emma's an absolute global name in the industry when it comes to coaching. She's an expert in tennis field, but other than that, her unbelievable knowledge is going to help us today with creating awareness. That's going to be our theme. Emma is one of the most brilliant and energy-filled presenters and speakers that I've worked with. Her practical coaching strategies that she's adapted over, decades, couple of decades now, have led to a very specialized coaching methodology. The way that she goes about what she does, it embraces everything that I believe is going to be talked about today. So, Emma, without any further ado, we're really excited to have you here at the 360 program, and we just can't wait to hear what you've got for us. Over to you, Em.
All right. Thank you very much, Conrad. And yeah, g'day everybody from Denver, Colorado. I'd love straight away, just in the chat box, I would love to hear where you're checking in from and just whether you're a coach, parent or player. And your sport in the background. So just in the chat box, so I'm just going to pop in my name there. And I'm actually, even though I talk similar to Conrad, I am actually here in Denver, Colorado, and I'm a coach. So would love to just see in the chat box who we've got online here. Feel free to type in where you're listening in from. And yeah, while a few more people are here and joining us, and yeah, fantastic. New Jersey, we've got a player. Excellent. Fantastic. Couple of New Jersey people, multi-sports. Yeah, actually feel free to throw in your sports there as well. Would love to know. I mean, tennis is definitely my background, but I'm a passionate lover of all sports. And yeah, certainly have had experience in multiple sports. We've got lacrosse, couple of lacrosse, fantastic, soccer, basketball, tennis, brilliant. Lots of New Jerseys on the line, parents, players, tennis and lacrosse. Caroline, thank you. Welcome. I really appreciate everyone's time, and I really a big supporter of Centercourt and the opportunity for everyone here to be on the line. We've got a tennis coach on the line, tennis parent. Fabian, thank you so much. Field hockey, that's a very popular in Australia. So I appreciate everyone's time, and I really value everyone's time. This is going to be an interactive webinar just as I cross over to sharing my screen now. So we're going to jump over and share my screen. So just give me a thumbs up, Conrad and Tara and Ali, if you can see my screen.
Very good.
Good, beautiful. So we've got the PowerPoint happening now. And like I said, it will be interactive. So just to let you know, I guess, this is very exciting for me. This is literally module 1 that I'm bringing to you today in a model that I created early last year. The empowerment project, and there's the model there. That's what it looks like, and it's basically based on the 3 core foundations. So you can see there confidence, relationships and purpose. So you may have heard one of my webinars earlier with Centercourt talking about discovering your inner coach and the top 5 qualities of make a champion. So this model is based on 3 of those top 5 principles. One being belief, which is connected to confidence. The next one, purpose. Every champion has a very solid purpose. They know why they're doing what they're doing. And then finally, the 5th champion quality is team. And so for me, that's built in this section here in relationships. So I'm going to put the challenge out straight away to anyone that really wants to commit. I'm doing it in a training block of 3 weeks. So week 1 is awareness down here. So that's where we're starting today, creating awareness. Week 2, we pop up here to patterns. We're going to look at your habits, your routines, especially in the morning and the evening, and asking, are your routines really serving you? And then down the bottom here, We've got language, empowering language. I'm super, super passionate about that topic and have thrown myself into it over the last 12 years. So that's the empowerment model. And I would love, maybe we can work something out with Centercourt. If you attend all three, I'm sure we can work out something to reward you, because you will be given a game plan at the end of today's webinar, and each week you've got an opportunity to win at least 3 games. So that's the model, and please remember it was completely designed on what people struggle with the most, and that's why it was designed that way. So creating awareness is where we start. As we know, the more self-aware you actually are of how you feel, how you think, where you're at, taking a non-judgmental snapshot of exactly where you are is the absolute key to empowering yourself and empowering others, as well as if you want to get better, you can only get better if you know where your starting point is. So that's where we're heading today. So I hope that sort of gives you a bit of a background on the model and so forth. So just reviewing, I would love to see in the chat box, if anyone was on my webinar last week, I started straight away. I gave everyone in the introduction, I gave them some homework, which was pretty simple. It was to your superpowers, to get in touch with your 3 core inner superpowers, which again, I cover that in the confidence unit. Set yourself a stretch goal and to pick an affirmation. So an affirmation is a short, sharp, positive statement like, I can do it, I believe in me, I belong here, I am ready, I'm here and now. So go ahead, I'm going to get interactive now, and I'd love in the chat box, can you please type in an affirmation that you already use? If you were on the call last week, you would have heard some others. I am enough, I am capable, or just pick one of your favorites of what I just said. I'd love people to jump straight away, and I'd love to see them and see everybody, just really participating in this webinar and just really letting me know which affirmation works for them. Just as I open up this chat box and have a look as we go. Love it. Fantastic. I'm awesome. Love that one, Ali. Thank you. Thank you. I got this. I rock. Love it, Tara. Love it. And what I really love about those coming through now already is certainly that you've got the word I in it. So I inspire others. Awesome, Lauren. And that is really important, that I am strong. Fantastic. Really great affirmations. For us to not only empower ourselves, but obviously teach our athletes how to do that. So I just wanted to, that was reviewing the intro module from last time. All right, so moving right along, we've got where we always start. So we'll always follow that same, this same principle. So it's the why, the what, the how, and the now. So there's always 4 parts to every single module that we'll follow. So the why is what I like to call your unforced errors. We'll make them. It's part of human nature. And, what we're tapping into here is why, why is this important to you? Why are you even here? What's your motivation for being on this webinar? What are some of your challenges? And we're going to type those in the chat box once perhaps I've gone through a couple and the reason why I've sort of put this webinar together. And the first one that I want to talk about, especially as it relates to self-awareness, is this concept of one of the biggest things people talk to me about with regards to self-awareness is that they're struggling with time. So they feel like, can you believe it's June? Like it's already June. It's crazy to think. And a lot of people say to me, I feel like I'm on the hamster wheel. I feel like I'm actually, I'm constantly on the go, and life is just all of a sudden it's going by so quickly. And where did pre-season go? And all of a sudden I'm in the next phase of my training. And I feel like I'm not really getting to where I need to go fast enough. And the big fear is that, one day you're going to wake up and you think, hang on, where did that time go? So, perhaps you can relate to that with regards to self-awareness. Like, it's like, hang on a sec, how did I even get to this point? And feeling like sometimes there's not enough time in the day. I know sometimes when you're even on your phone in the mornings, again, that morning habit of all of a sudden going, how did I lose an hour of my day on the screen time? So what we focus on here is flipping straight away your unforced errors into what we call winners. So just another great reframing technique of saying, okay, there's not enough time in the day. All right, well, how about if I actually take more time for myself? If I put time in my diary just for me? What about if I put, so to speak, my oxygen mask on first? If I actually take care of myself first, then I'll be able to better take care of my athletes if I'm a coach. And if I'm a player, if I'm able to take care of myself first and dedicate some real time to my development, then everything else will certainly fall into place. So we call that flipping it. So each week we're going to ask you to focus on what are some of your potential challenges? What are your struggles, especially as it relates to self-awareness today? And how can you flip your unforced errors into winners? After I would like to share a story, and then I'm going to ask you to, so start thinking about what are your challenges and struggles. And I'll ask you to share that in the chat box in just a moment. Because I love this quote by Sir Robbie Louis Stevenson, which says, sooner or later, everyone sits down to a banquet of consequences. Absolutely great quote from the perspective of if you don't address what's going on in the here and now in your life, then it's going to catch up with you at some point in your life. And I know obviously I do have a tennis background and I've got stories from lots of different sports, but the number one story that comes to mind for me is regards to Roger Federer. He's obviously an exceptional player. Now, some people may not realize, everyone calls him the Iceman or, he's just cool, he's calm, he's collected. But when he was in his late teens and even early 20s, his behavior was not the Iceman. It was not cool, calm and collected. And it was one day him waking up and just making a decision that he didn't want to look like that anymore. It was having self-awareness around that. And recently I worked with a player on the WTA tour and we just filmed her in between points. So we didn't actually film any strokes at all. We just filmed what she did in the 15 to 25 seconds between points. And we put that together in a collage because she didn't even realize how her body language was affecting her thoughts and then her emotions and then consequently her behavior. And when she saw that, she was like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person anymore. So what we do when no one else is watching, I think is really fascinating. So that sort of covers section one as we go through. So of course, what am I going to ask you to do now? You're getting the idea, I hope. I'm going to ask you in the chat box, and I'd love you to type in, no matter where you're listening to, what are your biggest struggles? What are your biggest challenges? Is it time? Is it that you're stuck in the rat race? Is it, just reflect on what are your own challenges. I'd love to see them in the chat box with regards to being self-aware. Is it that you're sometimes too competitive? Sometimes, or if you're a coach, what are the things that you see in your athletes, with self-awareness? What are their struggles? What are their challenges? I'd love to see that in the chat box, because that's how certainly I can also steer this webinar as we go along. So I would love to see some responses here. I've got my chat box open now as we go. Yeah, managing multiple commitments yet within timeframes. I hear that time and time again. It's like you've got all these balls in the air, and it's really difficult. Concentration and focus is one of the number one reasons, because we're always thinking too far in the future or too far in the past. Self-doubt, limiting beliefs. We're definitely within the empowerment model. We definitely cover how to bust out self-limiting beliefs. Awesome. Lauren, time management. Yeah, it's so critical. time management, overthinking, especially people, struggle, especially with sleep, which is one of the best ways for us to recover when we're thinking too far in the future. Some awesome answers, everyone. Thank you for participating. Public speaking, absolutely. They're going through so quick now. I'm struggling to keep up. I love it. Work-life balance, finding motivation. Yeah, the motivation, especially in today's world as well, to tap into that exact motivation of of how to get the best outcome. Committing to me. Oh yeah, couldn't agree more with that one. And social media. The next thing you know, as I said, social media can certainly take over our lives. So some pretty awesome answers there. And I love everyone's getting into this, and you'll start to see each week will follow such a similar format that it'll make really great sense. So section 2 with this webinar, we've just reflected. That's what we've just done. So thank you, for everyone for sharing so openly and honestly there. So section 2 is always the what. So when we talk about the what, we're talking about the strategies. All right, well, what are the principles? What are the underlying core components that you need to be aware of to help you become more self-aware? So that's section 2 that we'll be following each week. So strategy number 1, I love this image too, is acceptance. The only certainty in life is, of course, change. Change is, and I mean, obviously, I even put this PowerPoint together before the pandemic. I mean, I was working on the empowerment project last year. Little did I know what a dramatic change that we would all be going through. And everything is subtly changing all the time. One of my mentors said that to me once. And the sooner you can accept that and where you are in your life with an attitude of gratitude, we'll be talking more about that in a minute, the sooner you're going to be on your way. So taking a moment, as I always say, to non-judgmentally accept exactly how you got to where you got right now in your life will help you create better self-awareness. So acceptance and just, it's something where it's sometimes really easy to blame or others, but just saying, hey, you know what, I'm here because I'm here. It doesn't matter how I got here. And they quite often say that the 5 people that you're surrounded by, your closest 5 people, will reflect a lot of who you are. So really have just a reflection on that as well. Who are those 5 people that you're closest to? So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is gratitude. So this will be an interactive piece. So start thinking right now. I'm going to get you to interact again after I read this quote here. So gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Love that quote and love the concept of gratitude. And the reason I love it is also it has this awesome scientific benefit of a hormone called oxytocin. So when we show kindness, compassion, gratitude, our physiology changes, our body shifts, and it releases, the happy hormone or the oxytocin. I was listening to a fantastic podcast this morning, which was all about the side effects of gratitude. And I thought, it was the side effects of kindness. And I was thinking, especially I think living in America only for the past year, whenever I hear the word side effects on US commercials, I hear all the negatives. And this was about the side effects of kindness in regards to all the amazing things that can happen, and the side effects of filling your body with oxytocin. Like, who wouldn't want that? So I don't know. I'm for it. So I've been practicing gratitude now for a couple of years, and it's I like to do it in the morning, in the evenings, also good as well. It doesn't really matter. But handwriting it in the journal, there's a great connection. There's a lot of evidence to say that's a really cool technique. So everyone can pretty much guess what I'm going to ask you to do right now. And it's just throw in some gratitude. So I'm going to get typing away here. I'm grateful for everyone's time to be here. So just that simple. Can be anything, but I'd love to see what everyone is grateful for. Would type away and let us know what are you grateful for. Time outside, fresh air, being able to really, yeah, great one. Thanks for sharing that one. Again, I love it when these all start to come through all at once, once they kick in. Family, friends, and being healthy. Yeah, for our health right now, absolutely. My family support, my family, and being safe, for sure. Yeah, and time perhaps with people that you might not have been able to spend time with prior to this situation. There's so many things to be grateful for. I know, you know, my sister back in Melbourne, she works on the front line, and I'm really grateful for everything that she's able to do. Yeah, I'm just really grateful for everyone for being here on the chat, being able to communicate. And this is another form again of communication, physical and mental health. Yeah, all the different meals that people are cooking, and being alive and contributing, being able to communicate. Thank you, Caroline. Excellent. Awesome. And yeah, some really great ones there. And it doesn't take a lot of time, but, you know, just being three gratitudes can really set up your day for success. And I have a feeling these gratitudes may be in the game plan at the end of this module. We shall see. But again, thanks everybody for yeah, for your time, for being on this webinar. I know that I'm really grateful for that. All right, so strategy number 3 is to stop and smell the roses. I mean, everyone's life is busy, and just taking time to stop, reflect, and remove yourself sometimes from all the chaos that's going on is a fantastic strategy in helping us being able to stay present. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go away on holiday. You don't need to necessarily depart your situation. But if you can find ways to maybe remove yourself, find a different space in the house, or focus on your breath, just connecting with your breath is really important. A smile, a scent of a flower, a scent of a candle. One thing, just connecting with the earth when you get out of bed, instead of just rushing, just even take 5 to 10 seconds and connect your feet with the ground is a great way just to stop and smell the roses. All of those things are excellent examples, just connecting, stopping and connecting. With regards to breathing, we are going to do a little breathing exercise as part of our tactics today. But just breathing in, you can almost feel it. It raises the heart rate. So, and then when you breathe out, it lowers the heart rate. So the cycle of breathing in and really extending the breathe in and the breathe out will lower your heart rate. And I'm going to go through a practical exercise with you on breathing. But just another great way to be conscious of that, and helps us become more self-aware. All right, so we've got strategy number 4. These are called the life pillars, and the life pillars are really, it's a great way just to have a snapshot on the 4 areas of your life that are really critical. So if you're a player listening in, for a player, so what we're looking at here is these 4 things here. So what we've got is your sport. So we're looking at how your sport's going and all the holistic elements to your sport. We're looking at your school. So looking at how's your school going, whether that be online or in person. Your friendships. So obviously that can mean whatever that means to you. That could mean family as well, relationships. And then the last one is actually your living, your space. So that might be your room, it might be your bedroom, it could be even a space in the house or where you do your work, or just a space in the house that's yours, that you can help feel like that you belong. And for coaches and adults, the adult pillars are very similar, as you can see at the bottom there, which is your health. How's your health going? Your career, definitely we see family here, and then the 4th one being your home, the home that you've created, or wherever you live. I'm not saying you have to buy a house, but it's just your living conditions as well. So they're the 4 adult pillars to take a snapshot and a reflection of where you're at, which is a huge part of becoming more self-aware of your life and where you're at. Strategy number 5 was what we covered last week on the webinar, which is the concept of the stretch zone. So last week we covered the 3 inner core superpowers, and we will review those when we do self-esteem, when we do the self-esteem unit. But within your 3 core superpowers, you'll see this next layer is what we call the stretch zone. So being able to have a self-awareness of who you are and your inner core superpowers. And then this next layer is what we just call, where do you want to go that's achievable? So how can you just stretch yourself? How can you become better at something? How can you grow, be brave, be courageous, and just stretch yourself one layer at a time? A lot of people, especially I work a lot with teenage girls. A lot of people say, just jump out of your comfort zone, just get out there, and they try and jump out to this layer out here. And often the jump is too quick, and it actually can cause more harm than good. So the self-awareness of where you're at, and just what's 1 or 2 things that you could do, especially in the next 7 days when I give you that game plan, just to even act on one part of the game plan will help you stretch your comfort zone. So they're the strategies, they're the 5 strategies. Then the next section of the webinar is of course the tactics. So I'll go over the tactics, and then I'll definitely stop and see if anyone's got any questions on any of those strategies and tactics. So if you think the tactics is now, well, how do we implement the strategies? That's how that works. So gratitude statements, that is the first thing that I'd love you to consider. And we generally say 3 gratitude statements. Showing kindness, compassion, appreciation will really trigger off that oxytocin. So, and writing that in a diary and handwriting it, as I said, either in the morning or in the evening, is the how of gratitude statements. Breathing, cool. We're going to go straight into a breathing exercise now. So I'd love everybody to uncross their legs and uncross their arms, and just get yourself nice and comfortable. And what I'm going to use, and I highly recommend this, I'm not sure if you can see on my phone, but the app there, maybe Conrad, could you write this in the chat box? It's called Cardia, Kardia. It's a free app. Obviously, don't get any commission for promoting it, but that's the app that I use. And when I click on it, you'll see I've already set it to 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out, and it vibrates as well. So you can do it with your eyes closed, but we're going to do this for 1 minute, and then you're just going to notice how you feel. So just have a nice self-awareness. So if everyone's relaxed, I'm going to say in to breathe in, and then I'm going to say out to breathe out. And that's all you need to do. And we're going to do that for 1 minute. And if you want, you can have your eyes closed. I normally always do it with my eyes closed, but I'll have my eyes open so I can read the timer to make sure we get it right. And we're just going to do it for 1 minute. Everyone with me? Thumbs up give me a thumbs up if you're on the screen and you're with me. All right, cool, fantastic. Okay, so we'll count. We'll start in 3 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out. In. And out. In. And out. In. And out. In. And out. And stop there. All right, gently opening your eyes and just coming back after that little exercise. Yeah, just type in the chat box, how are you feeling right now? Just on a scale of 1 to 10 after doing that exercise, even how you can put a word in there. You can just write in how you're feeling, or you can put in a number and just let me know. Yeah, I love it. Peaceful, fantastic, energized, excellent, calm. And that was 60 seconds. Isn't that crazy? Like just stopping for that amount of time and just connecting with your breath and just being consciously aware of it is really cool. So thanks for everyone that jumped in the chat box there. That's awesome. We've got one more tactic to go, and then I'll pause for any questions on the strategies and tactics before we get into the game plan. So our final tactic is the self-rating of the adult pillars. So this is just being able to give yourself a mark out of 10. So again, if you're a student, sports, school, friendships, and your living space or your room, and if you're an adult, health, career, family, and home. So the self-rating scale is a brilliant way to really take a snapshot of exactly where you, non-judgment, just an honest snapshot. It's not for anyone else's review, it's for your own review. Someone, especially during this pandemic, a lot of people would say to me, hey, Emma, how are you? And I'd say, oh, I'm doing great. Like, yeah, I'm good. Like, and then I could tell people, weren't necessarily happy with that answer. And then I shifted my answer to just saying, I'm a 7, but I've got a couple of strategies to help me get up to a 10. Or I'm an 8, and, if I just connect with my breath, I know it's going to help me change my state, and that's going to help me get up to a 10. So, I'll just pause there and open up. Before we get into the game plan, I'd love to know if anyone has any questions around the 5 strategies, and we shared 3 tactics on how to implement the strategies. If anyone has any questions, or even Conrad, if you wanted to unmute yourself and ask anything that you think could be relevant to the listeners before we inspire them with a game plan. Any thoughts there, mate, or questions coming in?
Yeah, no, I love what we're doing. I think it's really helping everyone to get centered and get sort of internal and be really present to the moment, I think, is the key here. Regardless of your sport or regardless of what you're doing, Emma, do you find that is, I wouldn't say it's natural for me anyway, for my personality to kind of stop and pause and smell the roses and kind of get grounded and centered. So it's something I'm going to have to train myself to do. So would you think that would be natural for most people, or do we get caught up in the speed of what's going on around us?
I think it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I think that it's a real issue. And I think that we're getting lost in the world of social media. Yes, it's important, but putting boundaries around your time, around social media, around taking care of yourself first is critical. And the more high achieving somebody is, often it's like, what's next? They're chasing. And athletes as well, I find, if they're not doing their rehab, their stretching, then they've got to, do their visualization. By the time that when they finish practice, like it's almost like the day just is over. And I think being able to be present and stay in the moment is like, it's 100% critical in sporting success. You can only step up and make that free throw shot in basketball, or that field hockey penalty, or that lacrosse tackle if you're in the moment, if you're present. If you're thinking in the future or you're thinking in the past, then you're not going to be able to execute under pressure. So for me, this topic and these strategies are more critical now than we've ever seen before.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, if I could, Emma, I mean, you're obviously an expert in this area. A lot of people today get very much caught up in, let's call them smartphones or whatever's going on. It's not always social media. It could be, but probably for the kids a little bit more. But for us adults, it might just be emails, texts, whatever's going on at that time. And I've had to sort of consciously, with the help, I guess, of my wife, recognize what is the moment to be present, particularly with my kids. I've got young kids, 6 and 8 years old. So I really want to make sure that for me, that's a major goal, because we're not going to get those days back. We're not going to get those times back. And so a truly reflective, self-improvement that I need to make is the discipline to know, okay, now's the time, put it down, even though I know something. And so getting caught up in that is very easy for me. I wonder if anyone else feels that, because I definitely know it's one of my weaknesses.
Yep. And it's actually a great promotion for next week's webinar. So thank you. Literally what we're going to be looking at, and I'll give even a sneak peek at one of the strategies, which is regards to notifications. So one of the biggest things that people can't handle is when they see on their phone just that little number, and they're like, I got it. And the next thing you know, they've clicked on it and it's opened up. Then they've clicked on something else because they didn't realize, that they forgot that they needed to do that. And then you've lost an hour. So being able to create a little folder where you put all your social media in one folder, those notifications are not center and front. So that's one little technique that I'll be sharing next week when we do the module on patterns of being, which is, of course, habits, routines, rituals, those things that we do without even knowing that we've done them. And the next thing you know, again, we're like, hang on a minute, I'm not feeling very empowered. So that's a sneak peek for next week, that we're going to be covering that. But I just want to commend even you, and, because you're not alone. I mean, and certainly this is something I still have to practice every day myself. So this, that's why we start with self-awareness, because if you don't have strategies on how to become more self-aware, then you will all of a sudden, it's June now, the next thing you know, it'll be Christmas, and you'll think 2020 and what happened to 2020. These are the strategies that we all need to consciously bring into our awareness so that we can improve. So cool. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, mate. I really, I know, yeah, a lot of us are in the same boat. So it's about how do we all get better? So,
Emma, recently
yes.
I have been turning off my phone and flipping it over so I can't even see that Conrad's texting me and asking me for things. And I also will go out for a walk now without my phone, where I used to never do that because it always was like a child to be picked up or whatever. And now I'm like, I need the break. And I found when I've given myself the break that I'm a little bit more efficient.
I would say all the research suggests a lot more efficient. It's, I know there's a woman out of the UK that does a lot of work with mums, and she gets somebody to write on the board everything they do within a day. And this whole board's like crazy busy with all the things that you've got to do. And then she puts them into buckets, and almost always there's never a bucket for the self. So there's never the bucket for self-love and self-care. And that is huge. And for athletes, it's huge. It's huge as well, because they have a million things for them to get their performance just right. There's so many things that they need to do. You could spend a whole day, again, as I said, working on the holistic approach. So boundaries, things like even the airplane mode on the phone is an awesome tool, not just for when you're flying, but also just to help you be in the moment. I certainly know a lot of companies in the corporate work that I do, they don't even allow emails until midday. So that time between 8 and 12 is that they shut off the emails, and then, then the emails open up. So to see how, productive they were. And that was a study done that showed that their productivity went up by, it was like 200%. It wasn't 10%. It was crazy. So something for us to really dive deeper into next week. But thanks, Tara and Conrad, for sharing those insights. And please, as we get into the game plan now, if anyone's got any questions, especially as it relates to any of the strategies or self-awareness, go ahead and type them in the chat box. So, I nearly skipped over the game plan. Here we go. So this is your challenge. Yes, I am tennis, but hopefully you all get the concept. for 15 points, your gamification and your mission, should you choose to accept it, listeners, coaches, athletes, players out there, is to do gratitude statements and do 3 gratitude statements each day between now and the next webinar. And I will be checking in to see if you did that. It's once you get in the habit of it, a lot of people even quite enjoy it. So, so have fun with that one. For 30 points, give the breathing technique a go. 6 seconds in, so lengthen the breath in, and then 6 seconds out for 1 minute. And if you can practice going up to 6 minutes, and again, I highly recommend the Cardia app for that, for 30 points. For 40 points, just take a non-judgmental snapshot of your life pillars. So just draw yourself 4 pillars, and 0's things are not going well. That's at the bottom. And at the top of the pillar, things are going absolutely amazing. You couldn't be better. And just have a snapshot of those 4 areas of your life, depending on if you're an athlete or a coach or a parent. And that's how you win the game. And I'll be asking, definitely we'll be reviewing this game plan at the start of next week. And then hopefully you'll be able to let me know if you won the game or whether you got 15 points, 30 points, or 40 points. So don't worry if you're another sport, but we'll certainly, hopefully you get the concept. That's the most important thing. So again, why do we celebrate? Well, we celebrate why not? Why not have some fun and celebrate your time for being here? You've all made the effort. And, you know, those of you who I can see with your cameras on are loving the eye contact, and it's really awesome to see everyone smile, and I just really appreciate everyone being here. So that's what we're celebrating. What's next? What's coming up next week? As I mentioned, it is patterns of being. So looking especially at your morning and your evening routines. And that sits under the confidence model, because as we know, if you can get that right, if you can get your patterns right, it's amazing what that does for your confidence and your energy. And as I always say, remember to take action on your game plan, because the ball is, let's see if I can get it right on my camera today, in your court. Oh, almost. I tried to hit the camera there, just missed it. But please take action on one little thing. And of course, what am I going to ask you to do? Throw it in the chat box as we now move into open Q&A. Thank you, Centercourt. So can everyone just type in the chat box what they are going to take action on as I stop sharing my screen in just a moment. I'd love to see, what are you going to take action on? Are you going to do some gratitude statements? Are you going to try the breath? Are you going to download the app? Or are you going to win the game? You're going to do it all. Let me know in the chat box as I now stop sharing my screen and I open it up. We've got gratitudes, going to do gratitudes tonight. I love it, Summer. Thank you. Yes. Once you have a go at gratitudes too, it's amazing how cool it is. Yeah, work on gratitude statements. Beautiful. Journaling. Go out and buy yourself a journal. Highly, highly recommend it. Fantastic. Yeah, the breathing, just that breathing exercise is incredible what it does to the heart rate. And definitely there's a lot of science behind that as well. So, so yeah, I'm back now. I can see everybody's names on the screen. If you want to, again, unhook your camera so I can see everyone's smiles, please feel free. Joanne, I'm loving it. Looking like you're into it. I'm loving that. Thank you, Lauren. Beautiful, Summer. I'm loving everyone's smiles. That's great. So this is definitely an opportunity, open Q&A. Conrad, you feel free to kick it off if you think there's anything pertinent. But Sarah, love it. Hi, everybody.
If I can sort of chime in, I'm all about professional development, self-development, and also having a mentor. I think that's something for me, without getting into details. For many years, I was in another country. I was in China, and I was kind of running my thing, and I really felt that lack of a mentor, someone to kind of help me and someone I could speak to and kind of bounce off. I kind of lost that for a while. I've since been able to reconnect to that, and it's something that has really, it's made a big difference. And I think that might be a great idea for other people to try. You're never too young, you're never too old, I think. And it's really important that I also say, okay, we're coaches helping people, and I'm a coach helping people, but we're also people that need coaching, if that makes sense. And it's often forgotten in our industry. So that's something I've refound recently, and it's really helping me a lot. So that maybe it's an idea for others.
Yeah, I think also, if I could say, everybody needs a coach. So it's, we did a webinar on Discover Your Inner Coach. And also, we need mentors as well, because it feeds the stretch cycle. I mean, the day we stop growing is the day that we say that's it. I mean, if you have a growth mindset, we're always growing. Remember, the number one strategy. Actually, I'm gonna test our listeners here. Who can the first person type in the chat box, who remembers what the number one strategy was of the 5 strategies on self-awareness? It started with A. It was one word. It was something. Yeah, nice. Jing, Wing, thank you. Yes, great work. Great work, everybody. Acceptance. And I think when we actually accept that, this is where I'm at, then we can grow, then we can stretch, which again, I'll cover on the unit in the second training block when we do self-esteem, which lives at the top of that genius model. It's like the crown of the genius model, because, the self-esteem is how we build our confidence. A lot of parents say to me, "Hey, Emma, can you just help my daughter or my son be more confident?" It just doesn't work that way. It's layer by layer. It's stretch, 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 which taps beautifully into the mentor piece that you just mentioned. I'll have mentors for the rest of my life. I'll always have a coach and a mentor, because that's what I believe in. And my number one job as a coach is to make myself redundant. Once I've given somebody enough skills for them to coach themselves, hopefully they'll get another mentor in the next chapter of their life, wherever they're heading. So that's definitely make how my philosophy works on that, Conrad. I couldn't agree more, mate. So thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? We've got any other comments, questions? Anyone got a burning thought that they want to share, or has everyone got the game plan for next week? And what do you think, Conrad, if they attend all 3 for this first training block? I think we can find something, can't we, mate?
Yes, we can. Let me bother Tara with one of those text messages, and we'll certainly find something special for those that get engaged. But look, I can't stress.
Mine on airplane mode. Sorry, it's on airplane mode.
Tara, I won't be checking emails till 12 tomorrow.
There's a whole new game plan going on at Centercourt 360.
I'm loving it.
Impact. But no, I mean it. It's these are great topics. I'm dealing with kids all day. I'm dealing with people that want to get better, and that's something that I feel very grateful about. Is I'm able to be on court in something that I love. My wife teases me all the time because I'm drawing drills or I'm thinking about. I never feel like I'm really working. I mean, I love what I do, and so I'm grateful for that. But there's also that self-time that I struggle with, and I'm sure others do. So this is great to be able to just stop and be more aware and kind of listen to basic things. What you said today, Emma, it's really basic stuff. It's stop and breathe, stop and take a moment, recognize what's around you, recognize what's in front of you. Understand where you've come.
I appreciate this community, Emma, that you're kind of creating for us, because we all feel this way, right? And it's just nice to kind of share that you're not alone. And that's, really, we appreciate that you are creating this community with us every week. And of course, we want this to continue for many weeks, because I just think that, the Centercourt community and the, and beyond, needs this. And I love sharing with everyone here, whether I can see your face or not. It's really terrific. So appreciate your expertise and Conrad, your comments.
Yeah. Well, I just, again, even just seeing some of the messages, I can almost already feel the gratitude in some of those messages. Thank you, Lauren, Joe, and yeah, everyone, just and for listening. Just the fact that people were straight onto it, like that first strategy, they were really quick onto that. So there's a lot of gratitude coming back at you from my end, and I'm really excited to bring you, the next 2 weeks of the Empowerment Project, and just so that everyone knows, this is the launch of this course that I have been working on from early last year. So this isn't something I just woke up and went, oh, pandemic hits, I better put something together for my athletes. I have been coaching. This is my 30th year. I know I don't look that old, but as Conrad knows, I have been coaching. When I was really young, I started coaching. And so, 30 years in the industry, these are the 3 biggest areas that not only champions possess, but it's what I see people need. And it's relevant and applicable to all sports. And looking forward to next week's module. I love it. Thank you so much. And yeah, if that's it from everyone, yeah, I remember the ball's in your court. Please take action, hit your game plan, and yeah, can't wait to bring everybody's next week's webinar. And Tara, same place, same day, same time.
Absolutely, we're gonna all be here.
Yep. So always on a Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm going to throw a challenge, if I can, to my fellow classmates. The challenge is, why don't you all go out and grab someone, whether it be your friend, your mum, your doubles partner, someone that you care about, that you would love for them to get this message and join into this, because this is really powerful stuff. I mean, I'm going to try to get my wife to sit down and do it and leave the kids, but don't like my chance, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, just invite them. And the best way when you're sharing or inviting them to come, one of the best ways I've found is to actually tell them about your game plan. So tell them about, oh, I'm doing this game plan. I've got to do these 3 gratitudes. This crazy Australian lady that's part of Centercourt 360 has inspired me to write 3 gratitude statements. It's I'm not sure what it's all about, but come and check it out, and then let me do the rest, hopefully. But that's the best way. Share something that you got out of the webinar, and you'll see these webinars will follow the same format. They'll be interactive, and of course we cover the why, the what, the how, and the now. We're going to do that every week. You know what's coming. And hopefully you'll find little gold dusts in 1 or 2 things that I said that you can add to your playing toolkit, your coaching toolkit, and your parenting toolkit. That's what it's all about, taking action. So so thank you, everybody. I'm loving the chat.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Emma,
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
360. Ciao, ciao.
All right.
Yeah,
bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye, everybody.